Okay. Once again, just so proud of our team, of everybody in the organization, starting with our players, with their attitude. I've told you over and over again how much of a joy they've been to coach, and that's not just lip service, it's the truth. This is a week during Thanksgiving that there's a lot of thanks out there and a lot to be grateful for, and our team has been grateful this week, and we talked about that, and having really good hearts all week, and being grateful for the opportunity, and they did that. We talked about elevating our game. Really proud of them, the way they've competed and improved throughout the season. Again, not perfect, but really improved and got better and elevated our game. And then we talked about discipline. I talked about it on Monday with you and with the team all week, that's the heart and soul of our team, to be tough and to be disciplined. And we were pretty good in that regard tonight. So overall, great team effort, starting with the players. Also like to recognize the coaches. They've worked extremely hard. Late in the year it gets difficult, and they spend a lot of time and invest a lot of time with these players and having them over their house and spending time with them and going to dinner with them and just investing with these young people, and they have to give a lot. And so our coaches have done a remarkable job, and I'm really proud of them for what they've done. So it's been good, been a lot of fun. With the game, we felt like we were in control the entire game outside of that last, 20 seconds, 30 seconds in the first half. And, I went for it there, trying to be aggressive. It kind of backfired on us. I thought our defense would get a stop. To take that kind of a gut punch when you feel like you're completely dominating, sometimes can take the wind out of your sail, but it didn't, not one bit with this group. Came right back in here, didn't flinch. Lynn said, "Don't worry about it, I got you." And he did. What can you say about Lynn? He is truly remarkable in so many ways, but you have to recognize his competitive nature and just how tough and competitive and what a leader he is. And in our business, if you're going to be an alpha dog, then you be an alpha dog, and that's him. And when you do that time and time again and prove it and put the team on your back and say, let's ride, let's do this, it's remarkable. I compare him, and please don't misquote me on this. If you're going to say it, say the whole thing, because Lamar Jackson was probably the greatest player maybe I ever competed against. But what I admire so much about him is how competitive he is. He's a remarkable quarterback and a remarkable talent, but you can tell what I've always admired about him was after that year when we were fortunate and came back and won up there, but that next year when he came down here, it was like, come on, put that team on your back, and it was over. He wasn't going to let anything happen because he was a complete alpha dog. He was taking over, and Lynn, in that regard, is one of the most competitive people I've seen. So again, don't say I'm comparing him to Lamar and all that. Lamar's a fantastic, remarkable player, one of the best I've ever seen. But both in the same regard of how competitive they are and how much they want it on their back. They want to make plays, and they want to do it for their team. And really proud of Lynn and what he's done.
Mark, what would you say to all the media outside of Kentucky that picked y'all to have a losing season?
Par for the course, right? Really, I think we've outkicked what they've predicted every year in the last 4 or 5 years. So we're really not worried about that. We're really not. We really don't need that for motivation. We're pretty motivated in what we do and how we go about our business, and we feel pretty good about it. And a lot of teams can say ifs and buts, or everybody does, right? That's the game. And I can promise you, we've been through our fair share and fought our way out of it. And if you could go back and put that prediction that I like 9 or 10, so
Boogie, and Jordan, and Calvin, and a lot of seniors making plays on the senior days that, I guess.
Again, par for the course. Guys that are stay in the program and develop, they generally develop themselves into players. And that goes to our coaches, it goes to our strength and conditioning team, Mark Hill and Corey Edmond and D-Mac and all those guys. They that's just what we pride ourselves on. And those guys have really worked hard and bought in. And there hasn't been as many in numbers this year, but they've been fantastic leaders.
Mark, obviously you guys won by a lot over there last year, but did this year feel like a little bit more complete performance?
It did. Yeah, it did, because this was a much better team. We all know they just went through some tough times a year ago, and still very good players, as you saw some tonight. And they still have, and Coach Satterfield's going to do a remarkable job. They come in and do what he's done. They've done a fantastic job, and they'll be back. But they were playing much better, and so it felt more complete. Felt very satisfying to physically do that. If you don't understand and recognize what our league is, then you're not real intelligent. You know what I mean? Like what you go through and what we go through and the grind. And I know people outside of our league get tired of hearing about that, but come try to go through that gauntlet. It's just, it beats you up mentally and physically, but it ultimately prepares us for this, right? And so really proud of the group and withstanding the things that we have.
Mark, it felt like your guys were really confident all week, even though everybody else was saying this was kind of a toss-up game. Did you see this kind of margin coming, or why?
I felt very, I felt very calm and confident. I don't want to act like, it's easy after the fact. But I really take the same approach every game. I felt good about our chances, and anytime you could run the ball for 521 yards, you're going to have a good opportunity to win a game.
Mark, Louisville pretty much dominated. Louisville pretty much dominated time of possession, but you guys did a great job of taking care of the ball and not turning it over. Is there a better way to counter that? A team having that kind of possession time?
With us possessing the ball, it could have been more, but we had some really explosive plays, to be honest with you. We didn't have as many of the methodical drives that we're kind of known for. We hit some explosive ones today, or we would have had a really solid time of possession. But with the ball control, the guys have been really good. They know, you guys know. Fortunately for us, when you have competition, we put the ball. Some guys have put the ball on the ground, and guess what? They're over there watching it with us. So that kind of motivates them not to fumble. And with Lynn, again, you have to admire and give him so much credit because of all the things he's doing and how well he controls that football. It's amazing, because there were times tonight when we had some options in there, some run reads, and he made great reads. And there was a couple when I was a little worried with the backed up with putting the ball on the ground with some of the things to get on the perimeter. But you know what? With him, you have to trust him and go with it.
Mark, was this the best job your offensive line did all season?
I don't know. That's a hard question. I mean, it's pretty hard to argue with these results. I'd put it right up there. They've done some really good things, and they took great pride in that. And they really, they've embraced that. The opportunity to know right now that we have to be very one-dimensional, and that it's on their shoulders as well. I say Lynn, but it's right on theirs as well.
Is there anything that's happened the last few weeks that's made you either revisit the importance of the forward pass or change your recruiting philosophy? Can this work as a sustainable thing?
Well, there are pieces within this that are very helpful. The things that we've had to grow into that can always help you going forward. But we do want to go back to the forward pass. I mean, I am in Kentucky. I do understand the legacy of Jared and Tim Couch and so on. So no, we will get back to balance, and there's no question. And really like where we're at. I love our team. I like the guys coming back, that, you know, with the quarterbacks coming back healthy, and I love where we're at in recruiting. So we'll get back to having some balance.
Marty, when you mentioned that history, that's sort of been the conventional wisdom about Kentucky football, that the only way to win is to get tricky and throw the ball 100 times a game, that Kentucky can't just line up and run the football on people in the SEC. How satisfying, as sort of a smash mouth kind of coach, is it to go through a season where you couldn't throw the ball?
Well,
and you
I
did what
believe
did?
you can. Good question. There was one other gentleman that was a pretty good coach, that was kind of physical himself, right? And I'm not dare going to mention his name. But I'm not saying that, but you know, back in 49 and 50 and 51, they were pretty tough and pretty physical as well.
Coach, it's going around right now, at least on the internet, of the conversation you had with Coach Satterfield after the game, where it seemed like he was motioning kind of like an L's down. Can you tell us about that conversation, what was going on there?
You know, no, I can't. I don't want to elaborate on that. He's a good man and a good coach, and you could tell. I thought both teams were very for a rivalry game. Emotions are always high. I think both teams were very disciplined, and his team certainly was, and they're certainly very well coached. And you know, I like to believe ours is as well. And we respect them. It's a healthy rivalry. You know, because I say it in here, and I always say it to our team. You know, you have about every 7 days to be humbled in this business. So don't go around beating your chest and getting too far out and ahead of yourself. Just continue to stay with the things that gave you some success. Continue to learn and get better. So we'll do that. I don't know. I mean, at the end it got weird because they called a timeout, and then we got a sack, and then like a fumble, and there was some ruckus and all that. But our team was very respectful all day, you know. So I don't know if you know, if an L's down, it's going to offend them. You know, there's going to be a lot worse in this rivalry over time.
Well, a lot of the attention, rightfully so, has gone to Lynn this year. But before the year, there were so many questions about the defense, and they've grown into a unit that's just, they're not giving up anything.
Yeah, they you know, really have done a remarkable job. Coach White, starting with him as the defensive coordinator, has really done a good job. And first year calling plays and being a defensive coordinator, he's done a remarkable job. And all the coaches, Coach Hood, Clank, Coach LeBlanc, all the young coaches and GAs, and they've all just all worked really hard. They take it with great, you know, pride what they do. Our defensive players have heard that, and you know, again, if you go back to my message in the summer, of course I embrace and love the guys that we left, but who are the new guys? You know, that's our deal. Like, everybody can be replaced, starting with this position. You know, and our guys, we're proud of them, we want to develop them or whatever, but there's going to be new guys. And that's what we do. We recruit and we develop and continue to bring guys along. And there's some guys that made some big strides. And that's what we continue, you know, look forward to. And again, I got to get right on the road. My dang staff is killing me. They got me running tomorrow. Of course, they want me in state. So got to get out on the road tomorrow, and I'll be gone all week, get back Friday, recruit over the weekend, leave again Sunday. So, but that's what our staff's doing. They're pushing us.
Mark, talk about Eddie Grant and all the adversities he's had to overcome this year with the injuries, and I'm sure sleepless nights.
You know, you really can't say enough about him. And again, I understand people, they always want to, you know, again, OCs have the biggest target on them. It's easy. They're an easy target. Offensive coordinators everywhere are easy targets. You know, when a run doesn't work, you should have passed. When you passed, you should have run, right? And, you know, it's just too easy. But what he's done, you know, there were an enormous amount of stress on him and pressure on all of us. But with him, you know, I could go back to that transition. And I told you, I think in here, that we would meet in the morning and we'd go about our business, and he'd probably start designing plays both ways, you know, with the forward pass and with the run. And then we would come back and we would meet again. And then we would separate and we'd come back and meet again. But I'm going to say this. He really made the right decision. He did not back off with Lynn. When he made that decision, he moved forward. He was like, he really helped me, because I'd really come back Monday morning like, are you sure about this? You know, or what do you want to do? And he kept on coming back to it and was very strong in his conviction. So was Darren Hinshaw, and so was the staff. And as you can see, Lynn gives you so many options. You know, there's a lot of creative things you can do. And, you know, it gave us the best opportunity to win.
Mark, did you put in a request for a bowl game where there's a 100% chance of rain?
Yeah, I think so. Seattle.
Not many quarterbacks, if they ran 45 plays and 43 of them were runs, they'd probably find themselves kind of running into a brick wall at some point. How many guys are out there that could, you know, some of it's obviously great play calling, but how many guys could do what Len has done when everybody knows he's running?
Yeah, it is a great point, because there's a lot of stress, a lot of creative things and all that, but a lot of it you can't really appreciate enough of what he's doing. You're right, because on the last touchdown that he ran, I was a second away from calling timeout. Because of the look we had, we're like, oh no, they're sliding outside. There's like two guys outside in the play we were running. And I just said, no, he'll run him over. You know, but he didn't. He was patient. We kicked him out and he hit it up inside and made him miss. Made the extra defender miss. And that's kind of the confidence that you have in him. You know, you give him a little space, you give him that ability, and it worked. I mean, and that's you know, again, he is worked so hard, and I'm so proud of him, but some of that is between him and God.
Mark, how
Last
special
one.
was this
Last
season?
question.
You guys at one point were sitting 2-3, you didn't have a healthy quarterback, and to win 7 games to finish out like this, how special of a run was this?
It was a very special run. It really was. Just proud. I think the team is proud of themselves in that it's hard. You go in there during that stretch and we play, and you know what we're doing, and you know, again, going on the road, those SEC teams, we weren't healthy, but we didn't play very good. I didn't coach them very good, and it's tough. And we're back in there Monday, back in there Tuesday, and it's a long season. It's just too easy to give in. You know what I mean? And we will not have a defeated mentality. These guys won't do it, and they just won't cave. We'll look for all options to continue to grind away and improve and get better, and that's on them. And you know, it's a fun group, and I think that's what they're most proud of. Not perfect, you know, but when you get scarred up and you get beat up, and you know, and you pick yourself back up off the mat and go back out there and do that and compete like this, and you know, that you know, does make them feel good, and it should.
Okay, folks, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have players already ready for you. Wait for you. Please exit the back door and head on over to the